It's Addy here, and I'm making a NBA latest trade buzz and rumors, just going on. And yeah, so let's get into it. First of all, I'm just doing a NBA 2K16 blacktop game in the background, so I can talk over something with Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry. I'm gonna be controlling Westbrook. All right, I'm just gonna get into some rumors. First of all, top thing in free agency was Kevin Durant going to the. A lot of people hated that, and me included. I really wanted him to come to the Celtics because that would have been a great addition. But he went to the Warriors, and it was a little surprising at first because everybody thought that he was gonna stay with the Thunder. Everybody thought he would have been loyal to the Thunder, but instead he left one championship team and went to another. So. Personally, I think he made a bad decision as a fan, but he made a good decision as a player to go to a team that can win him games. Like, it's guaranteed they'll go to the finals. So I just want to send my condolences to the Thunder fans because that's rough. And speaking of the Thunder, they have Westbrook locked in for another year, but after that he's also a free agency, and people talked about him going to the Lakers and leaving the Thunder. Now that Kevin Durant has left, there's not much for him to stay. He'll get a lot of money from the Thunder, no doubt. They already have a lot of money because Kevin Durant didn't come to them, but he most likely will leave, try to go to a team that will help him benefit and help him grow in his career, possibly also become a championship team because he's a championship player, really. Never have the Thunder really been that bad, so I don't think he's going to want to be sticking around through the rebuilding years. So I think it's best in the Thunder's interest to get rid of him for right now, because you don't want injuries and stuff making Westbrook unavailable later, and all the trade buzz that's going on right now. The assets are all locked in, and I think the top contender for Westbrook is the Celtics, and people think otherwise, but if the Celtics try to go all in, they can definitely get Westbrook, no doubt, because Russell, he's a top player, and he deserves as much as you can give him. The Celtics' basic reason for them that they're holding back is because they're unsure whether Westbrook will re-sign, and that's a risk you take, because they can easily get anybody else who is also at that level and try to keep him, maybe get another free agency run next year. And the Celtics could easily convince him to come to Boston next year. So do you give up the assets? Next year the Celtics have the Nets pick. They have a Nets pick they can swap, which, looking at the Nets lineup right now, they seem like they're probably going to be one of the worst. So if you're the Celtics, you have to think, do you care about that pick? And in my opinion, if you want to be a championship team right now, you shouldn't care about that pick. It's going to be a pick that's worth a lot later on, but Westbrook is a lot. And they're trying to find some way to, get him to agree a contract extension. But I don't know if he will, because Russell, he's he might want to just play his cards in free agency and see what he can get. So maybe he doesn't want to already sign an extension when he could get a lot more money from a different team, and I think that's reasonable. But if you're the Celtics, you might still want to build a big three, and I think if the biggest rumor is that he's going to sign with the Lakers in free agency, and I don't see that happening personally. If he wants to play at the Lakers, he can, and I mean, I would understand that. I wouldn't argue with it, but because he said that he likes the Lakers and stuff. But if you leave the Thunder because you want to win championships, and if you say that you won't re-sign because they're rebuilding, then I think it would be kind of unreasonable to go to the Lakers, because the Lakers aren't going to win anytime soon. So you're just better off not you're just better off staying with the Thunder. You'd get probably more money. You have a bigger role. And, and I mean, I don't see why he should sign with the Lakers. With the Celtics, on the other hand, he has a big role already. He'll have a big role wherever he goes, but he has a big role with the Celtics. Also, he has a big three he can work around, and he has two other All-Stars from last year that he gets to, have as like side players to him. So personally, I think it would be a dumb idea for Westbrook to go to the Lakers in free agency unless they give him like so much money it's hard to refuse. But if you're the Thunder, you might think of a trade deal where maybe the Lakers are useful. I've heard about D'Angelo Russell and Brandon Ingram. That could be something worth giving up Westbrook, because if he's not going to sign again, you want to just get rid of him right now. Then you just take D'Angelo Russell and Brandon Ingram. They've shown a lot of potential. And same with the Celtics. Yeah, the Celtics' assets, the biggest thing about their assets is that they're on really small contracts. Jay Crowder's on a 5-year contract. This is the best time for the Celtics to use their contracts to their advantage. I think Isaiah Thomas, he gets like $6 million a year, and you think like Evan Turner is getting like 20 a year. So like these guys this year, with the salary cap rising, the Celtics have so many contracts in play, and they'll stay that way for a couple of years. So if you give up guys like Marcus Smart, they're like steals because they're cheap, but they're also quality players. So the Celtics can use that to their advantage. Like the Thunder will have a lot of money for free agency, and they won't have to waste too much money paying for all these guys. So the Celtics trade would probably be for Westbrook. It would be Jaylen Brown. It would be Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Jay Crowder. And personally, I think that's not too much to ask because, Jaylen's shown a lot of potential, so he's very useful for the the Thunder, and so is Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder's been pretty good, and he's a good guy to rebuild around. Not around, but you can definitely use him to your advantage. He's a good role player. He's proven that with the Celtics this year in the playoffs, and easily can score 10, 15 points for you a game, depending on how many minutes you give him. So I think that would be pretty good of a team to rebuild around. Maybe you ask for some picks. I don't know whether the Thunder are very interested in that Brooklyn Nets pick. I know most teams are. So, maybe they go into that. That's easily something that the Thunder could get, and it's probably a high quality because Brooklyn Nets don't look like they're winning anything anytime soon. So, probably going to be the second worst team, maybe the worst team. I'd say my prediction, 76ers are the worst team, and Brooklyn Nets are up there, probably second or third. So they have made some changes, but they're probably not going to do very good. So that'll be a good draft pick, and they'll have a big chance to get number one. So, and next year's draft seems like it's going to be pretty good. So, or so people are saying. So if you're the Thunder, I'd say you go for it. Moving on to another rumor is Blake Griffin, and he's also connected to the Celtics. Blake, he's been he's been injured last year and just getting suspended, then came back, got injured again. That was not a good year for him. Maybe it's the Celtics, that's why they're hesitating a little bit with the injuries. But he is a very good under the post player, and he's a very athletic, something the Celtics need, a good rebounder. And if he is on the market, I've heard that the trade would be something exactly like Russell Westbrook's trade, probably Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Jay Crowder, something around those guys, and also maybe some picks. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but the Celtics would receive Blake Griffin, and I've also heard that the Celtics would receive Paul Pierce, and I'm a diehard Celtics fan, so that would be a dream come true. Have Paul Pierce play one last year with the Celtics and retire as a Celtic would be so amazing. And if the Celtics kept Jaylen Brown, he would be a perfect guy for Jaylen Brown to, play with. because Jaylen Brown, he's a rook, he's a new guy, so somebody to use as a veteran who can coach you is always an amazing thing to have, like LaMarcus Aldridge and Tim Duncan. So it'll help him really sprout, and he's shown a lot of potential, so he can be something very good in the future if he gets the help he needs right now. He's not a very good shooter right now, but maybe Paul Pierce helping him out a little bit could really help him benefit. So I think that would be a good trade for the Celtics. I've also heard things about Cavaliers wanting Russell Westbrook, but I think that's a dumb idea because if the Cavs would give up Kyrie Irving, I've heard Kyrie Irving in a second-round draft pick. This is what I've heard, and I think that is not a good idea. If you're a Cavs fan. You don't want to go that direction because LeBron and Kyrie have such a great connection with each other that chemistry I don't think will ever be built with Westbrook and LeBron. So I don't think you go that way. And just some other buzz is like I heard Phil Jackson wants to add a 4-point line for those guys like Steph Curry who have it too easy at the 3-point line, and I think that's pretty interesting. The NBA has been growing, so it's kind of like, maybe add a new twist to it or something. He also said a 30-second shot clock so that low post players can get more time to set up and stuff, which is interesting, but I'm fine with the shot clock, but I really think that the 4-point line could be something interesting for teams to stop blowing people out, and it'd be more interesting if you're down a lot. You just pop some 4-point plays, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So I think that'd be a really interesting addition. So maybe Phil's onto something there, but I don't think it's coming anytime soon. I could see that in the future, but not anytime soon. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing of adding some new rules. I have heard that the Hack-a-Shaq rule or the Hack-a-Jordan, Hack-a-Dwight rule has been it's over now. You can't do that to any centers, which is good for guys like Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan, Tristan Thompson, Steven Adams, any guys who can't really shoot free throws. Is good for them because that's over. There used to be a restriction, you can't do it in the last 2 minutes of the quarter, but now it's just over. You can't do it at all, which is awesome. For those guys, but it was just really funny to watch, so I'll miss that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, rate, all that good stuff. And yeah, thanks so much, guys. Peace.